Welcome back to Uproar, everybody. I am Carl Thomas Gladstone. I serve as a co-producer of Conspiracy and Creativity at Motor City Campus Ministry. And today we are celebrating with our friends from Dearborn First United Methodist Church for a lot of things, for their meal donation this summer with our summer service Motown Mission, with their ongoing support of young people in service and ministry. And I'll start here. We are celebrating this week the return of the Kresge Foundation to the city of Detroit after, I think, 55 years of being in the suburbs. They made that announcement. And it got us going back into our archives to look at some early donations that the Kresge Foundation made to support buildings that then the Wayne State Wesley Foundation became Motor City Campus Ministry. We celebrated them. But in that list is a lovely little footnote that says, the first church that's in our notes is Dearborn First, with a $45 donation in 1946. You led the way. You were the first on board to see the promise of supporting young people in that work. Thank you for that. This past summer, you helped us to have a team of college students that were running our Motown Mission program. It provided leadership for 3 weeks of service in the community with lots of different ministry and mission partners. It allowed 100 volunteers to come to the city of Detroit to do spiritual exploration through service with their neighbors, and it put over $100,000 worth of time and contributions into the people of the city of Detroit. And that work only continues because of churches like you. We want to say a big shout out to you all. Thank you for your commitment to serve in this capacity of supporting young people in these roles. And we wanted to create these Uproar conversations so that we give you a chance to kind of celebrate the other ministries and mission work that you're doing from Dearborn First. So I want to invite you all to introduce yourselves and talk a little bit about what's happening at Dearborn First that the world should know about.
Well, I'm Susie Todd, and I'm the pastor at Dearborn First. And hey, congratulations to Motor City Ministries for all the great work you did in the city. Detroit is a fantastic city, and they're blessed to have all that work going into and coming out of the city. So yay, you guys, for almost 80 years now then, I guess, of it.
I know, the real legacy.
Yeah, that's fantastic. At Dearborn First, we believe very strongly in the work of mission for the church to get out of the building, which, speaking of which, this coming Sunday, we have the church has left the building. So we will be not in the pews on Sunday morning, except for a real quick blessing to get out the doors and be engaged in the community. So we're going out to clean up the River Rouge Trail and a little creation care work, to go visit some shut-in folks, and probably some other things in the back burner that by the time this comes out, I guess we could probably talk about. We're going to do a few surprises we don't want anybody to know about yet. Barb, you want to elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah, it was really interesting going through the process of realizing that 87 churches in our district were going to hopefully close their doors that day and go out into the community, and to pick a project that we could involve the most people in our church. Because as most churches around, we have people of all different capabilities and activity levels and basically good hearts all around in all of them. But you have to make sure that it's a capable thing. People that are online who we never see, but we love dearly, who are getting into our more elderly population, to be able to visit them is going to be wonderful for them and for the people who go, along with the rest of us, just getting out there in our community and being seen as someone who wants to make a difference.
It's probably one of the best ways that I've heard that we have to talk about churches closing their doors. This is the good reason for that.
The good closing, yeah.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So this is happening all across Metro Detroit. United Methodist churches have been called by our church leadership to say, set aside one Sunday to head out and figure out what there is to do. We've got churches that are doing cookouts for their neighbors, surveys of how can we be helpful in the future, people doing hands-on work, cleanup, support for shut-ins like you guys are doing, all sorts of creative opportunities that we have the of doing with youth groups that come to Motown Mission every summer, all week. But it's expanding that to say, hey, listen, if you haven't done this in a while, what an amazing moment it can be as an expression and kind of practice of your faith to get your hands dirty, helping your neighbor.
I didn't fully introduce myself.
It's interesting how Jesus did more than just talk.
Oh, it's okay. I'm Barbara Willikin. I am the
Go
mission.
again, Barbara. So
I'm the mission leader, team leader. I'm only just part of a team. Mission's really important to us, and we are trying to make it more. But everyone has limited money, resources, time, but taking that and doing what you can. I'm looking most forward to this Sunday to see what other churches do, to hopefully see what we can add into what we can do in the future.
Yeah. How is this a launching moment rather than
Right.
just a kind of we've completed mission work for the world?
Well,
Absolutely.
we focused this year on food insecurity. So it was a pretty easy, so this is totally different for us to be going out and cleaning a river trail, because we're stepping away from what we've been focusing on, which I think is good, because if you continue to focus just on a couple things and just on a couple places, it gets tedious in the fact that you lose some interest, and you always want to be looking at ways to make things better. But you can't let go of the things that you're always have supported either, which is like things like Motor City Wesley and other important things to us. In our food insecurities, for instance, we're reaching out with Blessings in a Backpacks and looking at partnering with another church in our community to do a food pantry. And those are important because we need to look at our community, but then we try to look further out. We try to get outside those doors and partner with, we've been doing a lot more partnering with, we've always partnered a lot with Cass UMC. And we've started to partner more with Central UMC as well and try to divide some of our time between the two. Because not only when you look at food insecurity, you have to look at the obvious issue of homeless persons in our area. And these two churches have amazing programs to help in those endeavors. And we are a very small, tiny part of that. But it is good to be able to be part of all those endeavors.
Yeah, absolutely. Susie, what else is happening in ministry and mission with Dearborn First that is important to talk about? We've seen some interview style Sunday mornings and during worship. We've seen some other things happening. Tell us a little bit more about what's happening that you'd like to lift up.
Well, as Barb said, we have kind of focused on food insecurity for 2025 and moving into 2026, and we start to imagine what the church can be in the future and how we can best express that. What some of the things that we have been really leaning in toward is this idea of being created in the image of the Creator. And so how do we as a church be people who create justice and love and mercy in the world? And we're looking at that through all kinds of different artistic expressions. We've got some spaces that we're repurposing that we're hoping to use for just that kind of thing. So we're looking to bring in things like protest. We're going to do an evening of protest coming up in the near future, which will be bringing in people that are protest musicians and artists and poets and all of those kinds of things to advocate for, to change the systems too. When we do mission, we're doing the short-term fix, if you will. We're fixing the immediate problem, but we also have to look at how to fix the systems that have broken and created these problems. And so that's kind of where we're trying to lean into that a little bit more in the coming year or two. What other exciting things do we have going on? We have their evening of protest coming up. We're starting a group for people who have been hurt by the church, for ex-evangelicals, LGBTQ, who the church has done a lot of harm to, and kind of a group of repentance and renewal and going back to the roots of what Christ said as opposed to what the church rules have consistently put on by human beings. So a little bit of a reinvention there. That's pretty exciting too. Our
confession booth at Wayne State University one year was the only moment that we got some real pushback from people walking by. So the table was, we're sorry for the way that the church has hurt you. If you have the capacity to share your witness of what that harm was, you can write it in this journal. And we have reparations for you, which is a $5 Starbucks gift card.
That's a great idea.
So for the people that participated, they kind of had this look on their face. These are the moments we seek out, which is the look on their face like, I didn't think a church could do this,
Yeah.
This is really different. One guy though walked by and turned back around to come back. Why are you can't say you're sorry for me. I'm a Christian. I didn't hurt anyone. This is not appropriate. And I thought, well, this is really, great conversation. And
yeah,
sometimes confession is one of the hardest things they have to do.
Yeah. We did at the Pride Festival, we did this too, where people could write down the harm of the church. And I had a great opportunity to have a conversation with a family of a trans young person and the way the church had really hurt this family, and not just the transitioning child, but also the parents of the church of the child. And so it was a really poignant moment for me to be able to share that story and apologize on behalf of people that have invoked the name of Jesus to do harm.
Well, if folks are hearing these stories and they want to hear more about what's happening at Dearborn First, where can they find information? Where and when can they come see you? Give people some on ramps into connecting with all that you're doing.
Sure. Usually the first on ramp is the internet, right? So www.dearbornfirst.umc.org. We have an invitation out there which will tell you all of the things that are going on this fall. There's also a live page that lists the immediate things that are going on. And we worship on Sunday mornings at 10 o'clock in Dearborn on corner of Garrison and Mason, 22124.
Right.
And Garrison. And we're also live streaming online on Facebook, and then you can also find it on YouTube. So Google us. We'll show
Don't
up.
skip out on a church that has such proximity to great brunch options after church.
Yeah, right.
It's really good.
There's one thing Dearborn has to offer besides a great church is a lot of great food. No doubt about it. I bet you missed some of that, don't you, Carl?
I do. The other piece of this story is that I had the privilege to work at Dearborn First and working with the young people there for a number of years, and it was a wonderful time. It's a place that my family has called home since my grandparents were around, and so it's a place dear to my heart. Barb, if people want to dive in specifically to some of the mission components to what you all are doing, same website, I'm sure. Look for the missions tab. Any other ways that you'd encourage people to connect with missions stuff?
We have our own email, missions at dearbornfirstumc.org. And all the other ways, especially the invite that Pastor Susie talked about, is a great way to connect with everything we're doing. We actually have gotten a group of people who contact me regularly and come and just do mission work with us because that's where they want to put their foot back into the church. And I think that's really interesting. So I hold those names close and I always send it out about once a month or so. I send them out, hey, this is what we're doing. Here's the connect. Is there anything that interests you? And they do show up at things that we're doing. And I really appreciative of that. And if that's their first step back into whatever they're looking for, we're happy to have them just for that. So you don't have to become a member or a regular attendee to be part of what we're doing. Human resources is always our biggest need. So definitely contact us if we can make that part of your life.
Amazing. Well, friends, thank you so much for all that you have done over the years. Thank you for what you're doing now. And we just continue to pray for Dearborn First UMC and to celebrate all the impact that you help create in the world. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for all the work you've done.